And so as we have traveled, are living in pen, who are living in hunger, both women, men, youth, and children in particular, and it breaks my heart. And so what we want to do is really to restore good governance across the entire length and breadth of governance structure in Enugu. Our local government systems do not work. Today, they are actually the local government system is being managed by people who do not have the capacity, and it's worsened by a PDP-led administration that really does not have the interest of the people at heart. We have a situation where money is belonging to local government is taken, appropriated every month. Every month, it's common knowledge. What this then means is that the rural dwellers have no opportunity whatsoever to receive such ordinary accrue to them from these local government administrations. So road construction, primary health care, refuse management and disposal, the management of the markets, provision of microcredit schemes. These are some of the things that are actually within the mandate of the local government in the Nigerian constitution. But when the monies belonging to them have been taken, you ask yourself, how can they provide this service? So these are the areas, these are the ways in which we plan to actually ensure that we tackle the poverty situations, we create wealth, and that both the rural dwellers have a lease of life, and that we deal with hunger and food security, and of course our young people have opportunity to achieve their purpose in life.
All right. In your words now, you said Enugu State will witness disruptive but positive governance from 2023 when you assume office. So, do you really think APGA has all it takes to win that? All right.
Go ahead.
Please go on.
Okay, thank you so much. I believe you're asking whether APGA has what it takes. Okay, fine, thank you. I believe that a lot of people, for reasons, for reasons best known to them, still believe that, or let me put it this way, a lot of people seem out of tune with the political climate, with the heightened sense of awareness within this electorate, with the rising wave of citizen activism in the political process. I believe that Nigeria has never had a team. There's huge suffering. People are very much aware of the hunger that persists in this land. People are very much aware of how much money they spend on maintaining their vehicles because of the poor road infrastructure. People are aware of the heightened insecurity within the city and within every part of this state. As we speak, there are communities within Iweze North local government that have been sacked. We have hundreds of people that have been killed in a Hamofe issues of local government. We have communities being attacked in Iweze South local government. Within the city of Enugu, kidnapping is at an all-time high. Within Nkanu West local government, where I come from, and Nkanu East, terrorist camps, bandit camps have been dismantled, but this has not made the attacks by these people have not abated. These issues are there, and when you have a government that has failed to protect the people, that has failed to bring about improvements in their living conditions, what the people must do is to trash that. And so I believe that the ruling party is in for a big surprise, because they think it is business as usual. They believe that they can pay people off to go and vote. But I thank INEC and its officials, and I thank President Muhammad Buhari, whom I believe that the electoral reforms is probably going to end up being his greatest legacy, for restoring this opportunity to really put power back in the hands of the ordinary citizens to select the leaders of their choice. So based on all of these things, and based on our hard work, crisscrossing the entire state, making our case and presenting our manifesto, I'm supremely confident that APGA will form the next government in Enugu State. And I'm supremely confident that I'll be sworn in as the next governor of Enugu State, May 2023.
All right, let's take a look at your opponents now. You will battle the PDP governorship candidate, Peter Mba. We also have Uche Naji of APC, Chijioke, the Labour Party, and others. How will you rate your chances against them?
Well, for me, I honor my opponents. I respect each and every one of them. They are achievers in their own rights. And for me, I am not their spokespersons. I'm not going to rate their chances. The same way you've invited me, I hope you'll extend your invitation to them so they can speak for themselves. But remember what I said a moment ago. I am supremely confident that APGA will triumph I'm supremely confident that I'll be sworn in as the next governor of Enugu State. And let me tell you something. I'm rather happy to remind you of my credentials. I've often said that I'm the beneficiary of the best nurture a child can have. I also believe that I've received very decent education. And I'm also happy to remind that I come to this party with tremendous experience behind me as a state coordinator of the Community County Council, the Poverty Alleviation Initiative for Rural Communities, as former consultant to government on economic affairs, dealing with development planning and public policy. I'm coming to the party with with a lot of federal experience. As former minister in about 4 different ministries, there is no opponent, no other opponent in this race today that brings the tremendous experience and exposure that I bring to this. I believe that I'm the better placed and best placed to actually really resolve the critical challenges that we have today. And so, but like I said earlier, I honor and respect each and every candidate in this race. We're friends, we're very civil to each other. You know, and that is the way it should be. This is the 21st century. And in the entire time that I've been campaigning, I have focused on the issues. And that is what I would continue to encourage anyone who has respect for this electorate and provide their proposed solutions to this critical challenges that face us as a state and as a nation.
Fantastic. All right. The Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, is enjoying massive support from the Southeast, where you're from. Have you ever been worried about this?
I am not worried at all. And any person who is worried that you have a credible candidate who enjoys such wide support, that you have a candidate that has capacity, that has competence, that has character, if you're worried, then that means you do not wish Nigeria well. So I am not worried at all. Rather, I'm happy for the tremendous opportunity that Nigeria has today to elect someone who is credible, somebody who has capacity, somebody who has character, somebody who has competence. I'm very happy, quite the contrary.
All right, let's be realistic here. Are you concerned that Peter and the obedience movements might threaten the chances of APGA in Enugu, and by extension, the entire...
Every politics is local. And for me, here in Enugu, I am making my case to this electorate. Suffering people of Enugu, people who are dealing with the food insecurity here, people who are dealing with the physical insecurity, the people who are faced daily with the water crisis I spoke about, people who are faced with the poor road infrastructure, the people who have trained their children, or who, after which these children have not found jobs for 5 years, for 7 years, and then they begin to retrain those children even in their old age. I'm dealing with the people, youth who are unemployed, who are not able to find pursue their purpose, who are not able to express their talent. These are the people that I'm concerned about. These are the people I'm making my case to here in Enugu. And so, whilst in the sub-region, it should be of concern, but hopefully afterwards, but not now. I'm someone who's interested in regional integration. So when I've been elected, I think it would make practical sense, it would be pragmatic, for me to pursue aspects of regional integration with my colleagues who are going to be elected in other states of the region. But until then, I will devote my best attention to making my case to the electorate, and then really seeking their acceptance, and then seeking their support. That is my preoccupation at this time.
Right. But as a former Minister of Information in the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, how do you feel about his endorsement of Peter Obi for the 2023 presidential election?
How do I feel about what?
How do you feel about his endorsement of Peter Obi?
About whose endorsement?
As of information in the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, how do you feel endorsement of Peter Obi for the 2023 presidential election?
His endorsement by who?
By Olusegun Obasanjo, as someone who has served in his cabinet.
Well, thank you so much. Excellent question. For me, we're in a democracy, and freedom of speech, freedom of association is a primary feature of any functional democracy. President Obasanjo has always exercised his democratic rights, his democratic freedoms without fear or favor. And I'm happy that he's endorsed someone he believes is competent, who has character, and who has the capacity to address Nigeria's the most critical problems that face Nigeria today. It is his personal right, his human right, it is a democratic right. I respect that and I honor it as well.
All right, then. How then do you think your party should spread its popularity in Anambra to other Southeast states and beyond?
Well, thank you so much. I mean, APGA is alive and well. And again, I'm confident we're working very hard to ensure that our party spreads beyond Anambra. But let me just remind us, the party in the past has spread beyond Anambra. Don't forget that former Governor Rochas Okorocha was first elected on that platform of APGA before he left that party to join the APC. So I think it's important. It's a piece of history that we should be reminded of. And for me, we're working hard. The national leadership of APGA is working very hard. And I think this came forth in a very qualitative way in which the primary across the country, and a process through which I emerged. It was pretty open, it was transparent. It shows that the party is interested in doing things the right way in order to really maintain its support across the South region. And so I have no doubt in my mind that the 2023 elections will bring new fortune and great fortune for the All Progressive Alliance APGA in the Southeast and other parts.
All right, Mr. Frank Nweke Jr., at this point, we need to take a short break. And when we come back, we will continue our discussion. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the month of January 2023, the 4th of January is dedicated to World Braille Day to celebrate the inventor Louis Braille. On 6th January, it will be 2 years when U.S. Capitol was attacked by the then President Donald Trump. On 8th January 2020, Ukraine International Airline Flight 752 was shut down shortly after takeoff. 15th January is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which marks the end of the Civil War in 1970. 24th January is International Education Day. On 27th January, it will be 21 years after the Ikeja cantonment blast occurred. 29th January is World Leprosy Day, observed to create awareness on the disease. Stay tuned to TVC News as we serve you with reports and analyses on these notable events.
Infrastructure and housing has continued to bear the stamp of
our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
Candidate of APGA, Enugu State, Frank, we're analyzing the battle for the Southeast states in the 2023 elections and his governorship ambition. Now let's move to the second lap of the program. It is obvious that PDP is strong in Enugu State since 1999, but some have divided views that this G5 governor's arrangements might affect other elections outside the presidential election. If they decided not to align with the PDP, do you think this is a kind of advantage for APGA?
No, can you take that question again? I'm really struggling with the volume. Sorry.
It is obvious that PDP is strong in Enugu since 1999, but some have divided views that this G5 governor's arrangements might affect other elections outside the presidential election. So, if they decide not to align with the PDP, do you think this is some kind of advantage for APGA?
Well, thank you. Excellent question. But honestly, I couldn't speak with any kind of certainty on some of this issue. As you know, it's like new drama every day. New statement issued by one of them or from one part of the country or the other. But as APGA, we're not relying on any any accident, some good fortune because of whatever. We are working very hard to ingratiate ourselves with the electorate, to really make a strong case for the electorate, and we look forward to being elected based on our perceived capacity, our competence, and our character, my track record of service, but more importantly, on the superior solutions we have proposed for dealing with the most pressing problems in any state. Of course, there's no doubt that the G5 governors are a factor, but I repeat, every politics is local. And so we're dealing with the electorate in Enugu. We believe that we should deal with them, engage in making our case. And that is our approach. That is what we're going to do all the way to the D-Day.
All right. As a former Minister of Information in the country, would you say the PDP still enjoys the kind of support it had received from the Southeast in the past?
Well, one is that I doubt very much. I couldn't say yes. I, for one, people had often asked me why even I chose to leave the PDP. And I'm happy to share this with you tonight, and of course, your listeners. For me, for over 20 years, the Southeast has shown fidelity to the PDP, based on what was perceived as a certain egalitarian principles of justice, fairness, and equity. And for me, I certainly walked away from the PDP because I do not see it as a party that can be trusted to obey its own rule, to obey its own law. And I believe that this is the case across the length and breadth of this. We cannot point out the position of the PDP over the past 24 years. So when you look at the major road requirements or infrastructure within, say, the region, in the prior 16 years when the PDP was at the center, it's not associated with the party, offered structural development to the region. Why would I want to associate with a party that has no respect for my part of the country? Why do I want to associate with a party that has no respect for its own constitution, or its own written laws, or its own established norms for doing things? So I believe that even the current configuration of the region and the fact of kind of challenge that they are confronted with across the length and breadth of this region speaks volumes. Really, these are indicators to show whether the party continues to enjoy wide followership within the region.
Let's talk about your running mate, Dr. Edith Ugwanyi, who is a renowned female entrepreneur. What informed this decision?
Thank you. I mean, Dr. Edith Ugwanyi value to our ticket. First of all, our choice, woman, to be my running mate, was to signal to pay priority attention to issues issues concerning our mothers and our women and our daughters. That's number one. Secondly, she comes to the ticket with high quality education. She has a PhD in health administration. She has a master's in business administration. She also has a first degree in nursing. Dr. Ugwanyi also has tremendous exposure locally and internationally. She's a great mobilizer, and she's brought great value to our team. And I look forward to really working with her as a team to really transform and bring good governance to Enugu State. And under our leadership, collective leadership, we want, I repeat, prioritize the affairs of our mothers, ensure that maternal health care is a priority, ensure that issues elderly are important. There's something I want to point out. I'm very much interested in providing solid support to our mothers. As I crisscross the wards, the communities within the state, when we go to the markets, when we go to most places, it is our women folk that we see toiling, striving. This is not lost on me. So we have programs through which we're going to support our mothers. We have programs through which we're going to support our women, because they seem to be the breadwinners these days. They are the ones who strive to really provide support for their children, for their husbands, and really keep their homes together. So this is not lost on me. And I'm happy that I have a woman as a running mate, because she's going to have a lot of work to engage in these people. Was under my overall
the youth that the Southeast will punish the PDP for refusing to give its presidential tickets to the zone.
Say that again.
How convinced are you that the Southeast will punish the PDP for its refusal to give its presidential tickets to the zone?
Well, for me, I'm not Nostradamus. If I was, I would be able to really answer that question more factually. But the presidential election is not too far away anymore. Of course, as the governorship election as well. So let's be patient and see what happens the coming weeks. It's just a couple of weeks away now. But I repeat, politics is about interest, but whether personal or interest. And I believe that the southeast of Nigeria will be interested in affecting its political interests. The region will go in doing this.
All right, Mr. Frank. So, in your view, what kind of a leader does Nigeria 2023?
Well, thank you so much. At this point, I am probably going to repeat what I said earlier, which is at this point in time, given the critical challenges that confront us, right? Milocon leadership. We also do not need a nepotic leadership who turns around when no one is looking to tell his people that certain people from different parts of the country are not needed, and that he's the only one that is needed. So we require a highly detribalized leadership in 2023, a leadership that has the required education, a leadership with verifiable track record, a leadership that has capacity, a leadership that has competence, a leadership that has character. This is the kind of leadership we must have now in 2023, given the critical challenges of insecurity, of the very severe divisions that is now, and that will ensure that every length and breadth, every ethnic group in this country, that they get what is, they feel a sense of inclusion, they feel a sense of inclusiveness in the management of the country's affairs. This is the kind of leadership that we need at this time in our country in 2023.
So let's talk about your presidential candidate, Peter Umidi, who is a professor of law and former judge of Anambra State. What are his chances, and does he possess all of these traits you mentioned earlier?
Well, thank you so much. I believe that, like other presidential candidates, he's making his case to the electorate. And of course, it's a democracy. It's one man, one vote. We thank God for the electoral and elections take place. I'm supremely confident that the outcomes will reflect the wish of the people, at least based on the electoral reforms that have been put in place by INEC for the last year and a half or two, for that matter.
So what would you suggest Enugu should do in next year's election in ensuring that the zone is not marginalized?
You take that again, please.
What would you advise Enuguans to do to ensure that the zone is not marginalized in this next election?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Now, you know, I'm not so sure that I think I'll reframe your question this way. I believe that once the elections are over, it is imperative who emerges as president must understand that elections are over, and that once elections are over, the entire country unites again as your constituency, and that you have a responsibility to govern well, to respect the component members of this of the country, to ensure that you obey the laws of this country. We have a federal character principle. We have our constitution that stipulates very clearly how our country should be run, how our diversity should be managed. So it doesn't really matter what happens, who wins or who does not win. These laws are in place. These laws were put in place by past leaders as very important tools for the management of our diversity. And when we have trash these laws, and when we have ignored these laws simply because it is convenient, we have seen kind of disunity, how divided we have become, how ungovernable, literally speaking, our country has become because of our failure to respect each other, to respect our diversity, and to respect God, be pleased to elevate emerges through ethnic representation based on the federal character principle. This must be upheld. Otherwise, we might continue to have the kind of problems that we have in our quality, in our economy, and other aspects of our national life.
All right. Results now determined by the court, even primary elections. In your view, what can be done to reduce this? Mr. Frank, did you hear?
Okay. For me, I'm not. Yes. So I think you were asking what can be done to reduce what litigation.
Yes, most analysts are concerned that election results are now determined by the court, even primary elections. What can be done to reduce this, in your view?
Well, for me, I'm one of those that believe that the latest electoral reforms have gone a long way in restoring some form of sanity and order to our electoral process. And it's important for us to see these laws not an end in itself, but a means to, that it means to an end. Every democracy will continue to evolve with, based on the, on the emergent issue. So the electoral reforms have brought some sanity to our electoral process. I believe that if there are gaps, I'm confident that the National Assembly, the forthcoming National Assembly, will also take steps to plug those gaps when they resume, when they are convened in 2023. I have no doubt that we're on the path of progress with respect to electoral reforms, and we must, just be alert and then have the openness to really identify issues that have not served, or laws that have not served us well, and then work assiduously to ensure that we propose amendments that will actually bring, greater improvement to the entire electoral process for the benefit of our country and our people.
All right, so let's talk about INEC preparations for the election. How will you rate it? How has it been so far?
Well, I must confess that I have, like a lot of people, I have my concerns, especially with respect to matters of insecurity and incessant attacks on the INEC facilities. But it's also heartwarming. I've heard the chairman of INEC speak, and he's been very confident in stating that elections will and that they are ready to ensure that Nigerians have credible elections in 2023. This is heartwarming, and they have my best wishes. And I mean, as a commission, of course, as a citizen, nothing would please me more that these elections come and go without incident, and that we, bring that the political temperature will be reduced, and that we can show the world with pride and confidence that we have the capacity manage our national affairs. This is something that's really important to me. It's also going to send a signal to our friends internationally that our democracy is here to stay, and that Nigeria is able, I repeat, to manage its own affairs.
All right. In the past few months, hoodlums continue to destroy INEC offices in the southeast. Don't you think this will have a negative impact on the election, especially in the southeast?
Well, again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. INEC has continued to assure us that in spite of these attacks, that they believe that elections will go on, and that they have no reason to think that the credibility of the elections will be undermined in any way. And I'm going to hold on to that. They have responsibility. I believe that they're working very closely with the security services, security agencies, and I'm sure that these things will come to pass without incident. Let's also not forget, this is not the first time we're about to have national elections when, a lot of people felt, oh, these elections, or that all hell will be let loose. But to the glory of God, Nigeria has always navigated these elections, with in a very admirable way, in a way that disappointed the prophets, naysayers, and I'm confident that this 2023 elections will not be any different. That Nigeria will be able to manage its effective partnership with the security agencies.
All right, Mr. Frank. Well, these attacks have continued for some time now, and I'm sure you would agree with me that this is worrisome. So how best do you think this can be tackled for us to have a peaceful election?
Well, perhaps it's my turn to ask you a question, right? maybe you know something that I do not know. Maybe it's my turn to ask you for a moment something you'd like to really share with our audience. But clearly, we have agencies of state who have responsibility to provide security. We have INEC who have responsibility to conduct elections. And I'll be surprised if our security services are not providing maximum support to INEC. I have no reason to believe that this is not the case. And based on assurances by the security services, and of course INEC at the highest levels of their management, I'm confident that these elections will proceed without incident. Of course, we must continue to engage, the people who actually perpetrate some of these acts of violence, track them down, and really bring them to justice as a deterrent to others. And I believe that the security is their best interest and will continue to do so.
All right, on a final note, let me have your final message for the people of Enugu State.
No, say that again.
Let me have your final message for the people of Enugu State.
So thank you so much. And now, to my dear people of Enugu State, I ask you to please arise. Enugu, arise and let us rebuild our city. Let us rebuild our state. This is my final message to people of Enugu State. And I say, God bless you all. May God give us victory in upcoming elections.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frank, and we're coming on Politics Tonight. As the governorship candidate of ABGA in Enugu State, we analyzed the battle for the Southeast states in the 2023 elections and his governorship ambition. And we wish you the very best. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. God bless you.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVCNewsNG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Join us for the repeat episode at midnight and tomorrow for another edition of Politics Tonight. Digging beyond the headlines. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Goodbye.
Precious Amayo as I bring you news from the epicenter, where it happens and when it happens, staying on top of every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour when the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Taraba is not called nature's gift to the nation for nothing. It has several landmarks and natural endowments, serving as tourist haven. It's home to more than 40 tribes and languages that have existed for centuries. Get to know more about these resources and how Governor Darius Ashaku is harnessing them to bring greater developments to the state on Discover Taraba.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter behind them.
I just say the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
if you don't use it, it's waste. We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like
yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m.
To weekly TV series on TV. It is through this telecast the viewers get to know what is happening in the prosperity government of His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, the executive governor of Imo State. Through this program, all questions agitating the minds of citizens and residents